Alright guys, welcome. I'm making this video to share pretty much everything you need to know to get started with organic dropshipping in 2026. And the way we're going to do that is in parts. So today is all the fundamentals and honestly all the things you need to get started today. So the way this is going to be different from any other guru dropshipping guide you're going to see out there is that I'm actually going to show you the most practical, tactical things to do so that you can actually see some progress from now. Okay, by the end of this video you're actually going to be able to know what to do as a beginner. So what we're not going to do is a website guide. Okay, this thing is probably like 2018 sort of topic. Nowadays it's no longer the main concern, although there's a lot of things to be working on to improve your CVR, conversion rate, but that's for part 2 or part 3. For today is going to be primarily product selection. So that's 1. So what to look for in products. And then number 2 is going to be marketing, organic content creation, because that's where we're going to be acquiring all the customers. So these two will probably be more than enough. You can literally get started today by just ordering a sample of a product, marketing it, aka creating content, and then you'll start seeing more results and experience than watching any other guide. So let me go into more details. This was obviously a quick overview to put you guys on the right path, okay? So the first thing is a product. Obviously there's a lot of things to talk about in terms of what product to pick, what are we looking for, what's the current proven concepts behind products which will make them print. So the first thing you want to look for is something that has some sort of value or emotion towards the customer. And I want to highlight the word emotion because nowadays, in my opinion, the best way to get started and to find like a winning product is to have something that is linked to a passionate niche or passionate audience. For example, I'm going to go to my Instagram here just to show you how easy it is to find a product that has a passionate niche. I had to scroll a bit. And here we have an anime niche product. I don't even know what this is, but you get the point. 9 out of 10 products out there has some sort of passionate niche. It's like an audience, but we're just gonna say passionate niche, okay? So that's the easiest way to get started because the reality is you could be selling the same thing, but then changing the marketing angle to become like the first person who's running it. For example, there's a projector which has been around for a very long time. It's a very simple product. You can find this on Amazon. But the reason why it's actually a good product to dropship is because although it's very saturated, you could actually change the marketing angle. So it was being used for Netflix, for example, in the past. Now you could change it up, like you put some background sci-fi or something while you read. So yeah, it's all about creativity. You just need to find a passionate niche that may need your product, and then you need to portray that with your marketing. So if you could find a product like this where it's like one product but then a big array of different angles which you could choose from, then you're gonna have a higher chance of actually finding a winner, because that way you don't need to jump from one product to another. You just need to jump from one marketing angle to another. So this is really important. Next point is going to be high perceived value. Perceived value. And this is something which I like to talk about. I don't see many people talking about, is that the product actually needs to look like it's valuable. It's not just some gimmick gadget. So try to find something that actually is something you would buy. And although I don't like to put myself in the customer's shoes, because trust me, there's a lot of products which you may never buy, but then they're actually winning products. But I still think it's important to just have like a third POV of the product. Like think about that customer. Like would they actually buy this product based off how it looks and the quality of it? There's a lot of products which I've ordered in the past, and then the moment I actually received it, I would realize that it's really bad. So that's something you need to understand early on, because sometimes you could go viral, make a lot of sales, and then people would just charge back. So high perceived value is important because in the long run, you could actually create a brand with that product. And by brand, you could do it multiple ways, preferably with variants. So let's say you start with prototype 1. That was the product that you initially start with, and then you kept marketing it, you went viral, you made a lot of sales, and then eventually you were like, okay, you speak with the supplier, you tell them, I want to go for something better, so do this, and then we're going to put my logo on it, and then that's how you get your prototype 2. So that's what we mean by branding, but then also with marketing, perhaps by branding your boxes, you put them on the back, and yeah, just try to, sugarcoat your product, make it look very fancy. So that's one thing that's really important. This also applies to your pages. Your pages needs to be very trustworthy, and your website as well. So this is something which I'll get more into later, but for now, it's just the product selection and the marketing, because that's all you need to get to know to get started. So once you have these two main elements, I'm trying to make it very simplified. There's actually a criteria which I've shared before, but primarily having a product which has multiple angles is going to be doing you a big favor, especially when you're starting out, because you could just practice on one product which you know is proven. So how do you know it's proven? You want to go for saturated products. Now here's a trick regarding saturated products. You don't want to be just blindfoldedly picking a product just for the fact that it gets a million likes. That's not what I mean by saturated products. What I mean by that is make a list of 20 to 50 products, and then preferably try to backtrack the history of this product. So for example, there's a very recent product which has been really good. I'm actually sharing a winner right now. This is from last year, and till this day it works. So it's a little camera that you can put on your chest, and this was trending back in end of January of 2025. Till this day you could find it, that people are selling it. And this was the first prototype. Eventually they started finding different forms of the same products. So they would find different wearable devices that has a camera on it. For example, sunglasses, something like this. Okay, so that was prototype 2. And then eventually they went for something even better, which is like a ski mask with a camera. That's prototype 3. So what happened here is that they took the data from previous winning products. They thought about it as a validated product, although it's very saturated, and they started looking for new products through an advanced strategy, which I'll share in a bit, to find better products which has the same proven concept. So it's all about data and proven concepts. This also applies to marketing. So although it's saturated, it's really good to run even to this day. Even prototype 1 is good because of another thing which I shared a few minutes ago. It has infinite marketing angles. Okay, so what this means is, although you're entering a red ocean market, there's a lot of competition. For example, in the horse riding niche, everyone is wearing this and showing their POV in the horse riding niche. At that point, you're better off changing the marketing instead of changing the product. So you could just change it to skiing. We just spoke about skiing. You could do it for skiing, and then if it's, untapped, I know this is a very fancy word, and people often, or gurus often, try to tell you to find untapped products, because if you're the first, you're going to make the most. But that's not the case. And even for advanced people, advanced dropshippers, they wouldn't go for untapped products. They'd go for untapped angles. You see, we're all looking for this proven concept about a product because it actually backs up the product as a winner. So the moment you know that something is saturated, it means it's validated, therefore I could run it. But then how can I market it differently? That should be your question. So that's regarding the product selection. Next thing is going to be where to find it, right? So it's going to be primarily through, I'm actually just going to draw it here, where to source it. Number one is going to be either through Alibaba, AliExpress, or GoShipPro. And nothing is sponsored. I just share what I personally have used and still use. And I currently still use the main source, which is Alibaba. But then number two would be GoShipPro or AliExpress. So this is more advanced. but then these are actually really good. So you could do whatever is good for you. But the reason why I go for Alibaba is because I actually can negotiate with the factories. I could try to find perhaps a better variant of the product or a better price, better shipping times, and so on. So yeah, oftentimes whenever you go for these fancy apps which sources the product, fulfills it for you, they're 100% going to take a cut from you, apart from the subscription. So you're getting unnecessary expenses that you could literally be saving. And whether you're a beginner or advanced, it's always better to go for these, in my opinion. So now that you know what elements to look for in a product and then where to actually find them, now the next step is to go for the marketing. And the best way to get started with marketing is to actually just go to my burner account and just show you guys some products. For example, there's this product which recently have been going viral, but I'm gonna tell you why this is actually not the best product to run. Okay, so obviously it's nothing crazy. You can even see like a random brand name on it. Okay, so this is obviously not a high quality product. However, I'm pretty sure they're making sales primarily because of the target audience and the way they're marketing. So although this is a very poor product in terms of quality, like you could literally see the logo, you can see quartz. Nobody wants to see that the watch is quartz, right? And you can see even the reviews, nothing crazy. So yeah, they're probably buying it for like $1 or $2 and then they're shipping it for $6. So in my opinion, this is not a very good product, but the niche that this product is being marketed for is top. So for that reason, I'm sure they're making sales and they went viral recently. We can see here 800K 5 days ago. So they went for a winning format. This is proven to work, this concept of spinning the key, and they did it for the Disney niche. So this went viral by taking something that has worked in different niches all the way to the Disney niche. And yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't convert, especially with a $40 product. But again, the product is not very good, but I'm just trying to show you that sometimes the marketing can actually turn a bad product into a good product. So this is what I mean by passionate niche product. And you want to look for something better than this, primarily because, first of all, like if it was just a bracelet, and I've seen the bracelet, there's a different product. In my opinion, that one's better because there's more variants of it. So here you could see there's no other product. It's just the watch. If I were running this product, I would at least put the bracelet too. That way, if this product is bad, then they may buy the bracelet, vice versa. Alright guys, so since I gave you one example which in my opinion was not a winner, this is on the other hand way better, way superior. And that's going to apply to the product but also the marketing. So let's take a look. Firstly, it's going to be the marketing. Let me find something that went viral. 140K views 6 days ago. That's a good sign. So I want to start off with a hook. You can see the background is honestly carrying the product. So it's building curiosity. Nothing is going on in the hook, but the lighting, the aesthetic of the background is, first of all, very unique. You don't really see this from the average dropshipper. So that's one. Number two, again, the curiosity. He's making us watch longer to see what's actually inside this box. So this all makes sense. And if you were to compare this to the previous product, the marketing is completely different. So this is actually way better in terms of view retention, but also just the overall quality of the content. You can see everything is very nice. The background is contrasting with the product. This content is like 9 out of 10, I have to say. And you may think this product might be bad, but in my eyes, it's actually very good because once again, it has a very passionate niche. But then I have a feeling this guy actually watches my content. He has applied every single thing I've ever spoken about. So he doesn't just take you to the product page. He takes you to the home page with a very, very nice landing page. Alright guys, so I just opened the mobile view so that you could see a better idea of how the website actually looks like. And once again, he is landing the viewer to the home page with a very high perceived value image. And that's something that you don't often see. So we're going to click on this. Yep. And then you see the products. So he actually has the watch, but then he has other products. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. So this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say go for branded dropshipping, because the chances are this guy is printing compared to that one. So this is exactly how you should be running your products. And hopefully, you guys have a better idea now of what a good page versus a bad page will look like. Now, it may be the same product or the same niche, but then even the marketing was on a different level. So the lighting here is very good. He's using soft boxes. He's using a lot of contrasting colors. There's a lot of darker colors in the back every time. Now, one thing which is a bit risky is the logo here. I wouldn't put it, but I wonder if he has any notes here saying, inspired or not. Actually, never mind. He doesn't even say Disney here, so that's good. So, yeah, this is a very solid product, and the marketing is on point. This is why I say you could run a pump and dump product, but then turn it into a branded product. This is what I mean by that. So it's a very simple product. You could dump it after 2 months, but I'm pretty sure this is something that you could print with. So the marketing, again, you need something that's very aesthetic to the eye. Try to just not copy others. So if everyone is going right, you go left. That's what I've always done. And this applies to the background, applies to the movements, to the text, the formats, whatever. Always try to follow what's working, but then give it your own character to it. You know what I mean? So the more you do your burn account research, meaning you just look on your account, which is made primarily for looking for dropshipping content, long enough, you're going to have a good idea of what is a good format or good content versus bad content. At that point, you're naturally going to start creating better content that aligns with the same movement. So at that point, try to be creative, be confident to actually create better content. Now, when I say this, I don't want you to reinvent the wheel. There's a big difference between what I just said and reinventing the wheel. So everything he did here may have been done already, but then he gave it his own, perhaps, background or even hook. So he's testing different things, right? You can see every time it's like a different prop as well. Prop means like the objects that he's using in the back, or he's putting the product in. So this box, I'm not even sure if the product comes in this, but this has went viral for him. So this little box may have made him over 10K. So yeah, props are important. For the marketing, you need good lighting. You need soft boxes. You need very good props. That has to do with the product, obviously. And then good movement. This is the bottom line. So that's what you need to practice. You don't need to, waste your time making a website or trying to, waste your time with other things. You just need to order a product and start practicing with creating good content. And once you go viral, that's when you create your website. I'll make a different video for the website, and that's going to be part 2. But I literally gave you like a very good example here. You could literally copy this, and this is what the advanced dropshippers are doing. So I gave you a beginner page versus an advanced page, and this honestly should tell you more than you need to. Like, if I were to speak about this, it's not as good as me showing you. So hopefully this actually illustrates what I'm talking about. Again, you could apply the same concept. Don't worry, it's not the product. I've reached a point where I know that it's not the product anymore. So if you could just take the concept this guy applied and apply it to any other product, any other niche, you're going to make it work. So although this may be saturated or is getting saturated, you could still do this to any other niche. Try to find products which has different variants and market it like a real brand. This looks really good, and the website looks really good. Now, the final thing I would like to talk about is how many times to post and how many hours to wait and so on. So you want to be posting, first of all, there's no limit, but it's good to set like a standard. So you don't want to be posting below 3. Let's put it that way. If you're starting a new product, you need momentum. And 3 is going to be your bare minimum. Try to post all the way till like 5 or 6 per day. Personally, when it's prime time, I would post 10 plus times a day. But as a beginner, try to post 3 to 5 per day and always follow the data, see what is working, and then double down on it. Really important. So 3 to 5. Again, this is bare minimum. You could go all the way to 10 plus. Doesn't matter. You don't get shadow banned. So this is for Meta, for Instagram and Facebook. Even YouTube, I would say 3 times per day is very good. TikTok 3 is very good. But primarily Meta is where most people are printing. So all the way to like 10 plus is good. You could even do it on trial reels, which is better for duplicates. So if you ever want to duplicate your content, change the text and the sound, you could post it as trial and then keep the original on the normal reels. Next thing is about the time between the post. So this is a big controversial topic. People like to say, oh, you need to wait 3 hours. Personally, I've tried everything. What I generally do, if I have like so many posts, like 10 posts, I would post 1 time per hour or even 5. If I were to have like 3 to 5 videos aligned or lined up, I would wait 1 hour between every post. If you feel like your account is not rewarding you for that consistency, then you could wait maybe 2 or more hours. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you guys don't have any limiting beliefs. So you could post as many times as you want. You could actually post every hour, and you don't need to worry much about the warming up process. Again, just try to create an account, make the algorithm understand what you like, scroll in that niche, like a few here and there, and then start posting. Nothing crazy. You could start posting on the next day or after 3 days. Also, it's up to you, because from experience, I've seen that some accounts are different from another. So some accounts would require longer warming up process to actually start getting views. There's obviously some luck to it. So for example, if you were to post for like a week or 10 days, everything's at 0, you're better off just deleting the account and maybe literally, if it's a new account, like new phone, just reboot it, create new everything, and then start again. And yeah, again, if you have like multiple phones, preferably try to create origin content on every phone. So let's say you have to create 2 ideas on the first phone. Once you're done with that, recreate the same ideas on the second phone. That way you have original content on both phones, and you wouldn't get shadow banned that way. So you're getting better at content creation that way, plus you're just doubling down the chances of you actually going viral. So it's all like a win-win process. So yeah, that's pretty much it for part 1. I mean, this is literally better than a 6-hour guide. I promise you guys, what I've shown you guys here is more than enough for you to get started on the right track. And I've seen so many guys, I've started again like 3 years ago, so much time wasting guys out there. So trust me on this, follow what I shared and practice your content, because a lot of people are trying to convince you that stealing content is better. It's not going to work for the long term. If you do this, this is going to be better in the long term, okay? So if you guys have learned something new, subscribe, join my Discord, everything's free. And we have Sunday calls every week where I share more ideas like this, more examples, and I answer any questions. And the last thing is we have an affiliate program. You could join as well to work directly with me for free. You get one-on-one mentorship. You get to work on my brands with me. You get a cut, and any help you need, I'll be there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.